Welcome to Conference Insider Procurement Edition, the show that gives you inside access to the procurement conferences shaping our industry, so you can discover and assess which ones are the best fit for your role and priorities. In a market where every event claims to be essential, clarity matters. Our goal is simple: to expand visibility, improve decision making, and raise the standard for how procurement professionals evaluate conferences. There are more conferences than ever. Time is limited, budgets are tight, and it's often unclear what you will actually get from a conference before you attend. This show is designed to provide clear context so professionals like you can decide if a conference is worth the investment. I'm Ryan Bradford, and joining me as our co host is Amanda Prochaska. Amanda, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me again, Ryan. I'm really looking forward to this one, as usual, to learn more about the summit.
Well, today we are going to take an inside look at Procurement Supply Chain Live, the U.S. Summit 2026 by Bizclik, taking place in Chicago, Illinois at the Navy Pier on April 21st and 22nd. The event is positioned as bringing together senior procurement and supply chain leaders focused on innovation, strategy, and transformation in their organizations. The conference is also co-located with Sustainability Live. So let's get an insider's view of the conference, why it matters right now, who it's designed for, what attendees will learn, what's the experience and network environment really like, what's new this year, and why is it relevant given today's procurement challenges. Amanda, what else do you want to know before deciding to attend this event?
So I attended last year and I'm attending again this year. So my big thing is it's a new location, which I think is phenomenal at Navy Pier. It's a beautiful location, but I would also love to understand what's changing from last year to this year. So I'm excited to learn more.
Well, let's find out. Let's take a quick look at the conference and bring our guests on the stage. Joining us from Bizclik, we have Aaron McMillan, editor of Procurement Magazine. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Amanda. How's it going? Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're great. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks very much for having me.
Well, wonderful to have you here. Aaron, where are you based and what's your role with the conference?
So I am based in Norwich in England. We're about 2 hours from London, where our headquarters is. And my role at the summit is I get to be there as an editor. So it's kind of my favorite time. I always like going to these events because obviously they're very forward facing. I get to meet with some of the leaders I speak to kind of virtually. I'll also be kind of interviewing people. I think our own podcast there, we've got some sessions lined up. So it's a really exciting but busy couple of days, but I really look forward to it. And I think this year's edition is going to build on the success of last year, and it's going to be a really great event.
Why does this conference matter to procurement today?
I think right now, procurement leaders kind of face unprecedented demands. I know that kind of word gets overused so much, but I have the pleasure of reporting on the sector every day. And, it's constantly about the geopolitical issues that people are facing, the financial volatility, as well as needing to be sustainable. There's so many factors. And this conference is so important because it brings people together as an opportunity for leaders to discuss and bring their unique perspective from their sector and kind of discuss how the issues that probably plague everybody affects them specifically. And, they can share about ways to deal with it. So that's why it's kind of vital for us to host these events.
And Ryan, I'll just chime in there. What I noticed last year when I attended, the caliber of people on the stage talking in depth about those topics was just top notch. Like it was, I was pleasantly surprised, if you will, heading into that, because it was my first time attending. So I was like, the people on stage really know their stuff and talk in depth about all of the topics that you were just mentioning, Aaron.
Yeah, no, I think we're really lucky of the caliber of guests we're we're able to get and feature. And this year it is no different. We've got some really kind of great speakers from the likes of, Pfizer, PepsiCo, 3M, Schneider. There's some really kind of people that's kind of leading procurement and supply chain operations at some of the world's biggest companies. So it's great to kind of come along and to hear from them.
Who is this conference designed for?
I like to think kind of everybody. I think anybody attending can kind of benefit from coming along, because you're going to hear from those leaders, while also there'll be people in the room that you'll meet to and speak to, and those conversations are probably the most important part of what the conference offers, because you get that insight. You can talk to somebody from who's maybe operating in a completely different sector to what you are, but then you can hear about this kind of similar challenges they're facing and how they're conquering it. And that stuff is really important. So I honestly say, it's probably very cliche, but I think honestly anyone coming along to this will obviously benefit. Obviously, maybe be more designed to kind of our the people leading these operations at some of the bigger companies. But honestly, I believe anybody joining would probably benefit from the conference.
Is there particular roles or experience levels that are going to get the most value?
Anyone operating procurement would benefit. However, the agenda is probably tailored most specifically for people who are perhaps the decision makers within their organization. But anyone who's involved in a procurement team will undoubtedly learn something, whether that's within themselves or to take back to their team, or even the whole organization. I suppose you could say that these people we've got speaking, they're kind of the celebrities of the procurement world. So they're not going to disappoint.
What can attendees expect with the event being co-hosted with Sustainability Live?
Yeah, so we last year we introduced the Net Zero Summit. So that's the event we have in London, which we co-locate with Sustainability Live. I think what it is just kind of, it brings together these kind of three vital pillars of organizations. It's your supply chain operation, it's your procurement operation, and it's your sustainability. So I think already all those kind of sectors are very interlinked and have to work closely together. But it's kind of great to have those leaders and those people who work across all three divisions to be together in the room, having those conversations, talking about it, making connections. So it's great. I really like these events because you can hear perspectives from leaders in all three of those regions. So yeah, having sustainability alongside us is really great. And because there's even more people there, there's a real buzz to it. And yeah, I just really like the feeling of the conference when it's like that.
It was really interesting when I attended last year, Aaron, because the exhibit hall was shared by your procure tech providers, the normal ones that you see, although I did meet some new ones last year. And then you had your sustainability suppliers too there. And I loved that because I got to meet new providers that I had never interacted before and hear their perspectives around sustainability and procurement. And so I just thought it was really nice how you guys did that. It was a combined hall. Are you doing that again this year?
Yeah, yes, we are. We're having kind of the show floor be a mix of all the kind of the vendors who want to be there. And we've also kind of got much more of that kind of cross collaboration across the entire show. I mean, obviously each department has their own stage. So obviously there's the procurement stage, the supply chain stage, and the sustainability stage. There's also the main stage, which is kind of like the headliners who can be across every facet. There's also the innovation stages where there's kind of live demos. So yeah, that's kind of the real feeling that it's going to be kind of one big interconnected show. You're not kind of going, it's not siloed, if we're to
Right.
use our own language. Everyone's kind of together to have those conversations, because you want to be in the room, like, "Oh, let's have those conversations." And I think we're kind of it's really great to have everyone together so we can encourage that.
So your conference attendees will have free range.
Yeah, let's say yes. Just come in and enjoy yourself. That's what I'm saying.
What is the expected total attendance?
I think we're looking to have over 2,000 people there.
Is there a particular sector or industry focus of the conference?
Not particularly, no, because we're kind of covering all three. There's no particular focus. There are sessions going on all the time. There are workshops. There's so many stages to pick from. that, the agenda is packed. You can truly go in there and build your day. You want to go to procurement stage for a keynote. If you want to then go to the supply chain stage to listen to a panel, there's then the innovation hub. If you want to check out a demo, there's main stages with, the big speaks. It's kind of built for everybody. You kind of come in there and you can kind of tailor your agenda to kind of maximize what you want from the day.
How many educational sessions do you have planned? And a follow-up to that is, how many supplier demos or presentations are you expecting?
So we've got roughly 80 educational sessions. So roughly 80 educational sessions. 35 suppliers are exhibiting, and we believe we'll have 28 supplier demos or solution presentations scheduled.
That's a lot of sessions. That's
It
fantastic.
is. In 2 days, like
Yes.
it's a lot. A lot of options for those who are attending.
What else can attendees expect to learn at the conference?
I think we've kind of got a really packed 2 days. I think we've kind of got some really kind of central topics we're addressing, like, we've got the future of procurement, where's it going, how to increase resilience in AI, stuff around strategic sourcing, ethical strategies, orchestration. We believe that anyone coming along will kind of walk away with knowledge, connections. We also promise they'll have a bit of fun. We've got like some events happening, kind of drinks reception after the first day. There's going to be some great food. It's going to be a really kind of great show. And I think most importantly, you're going to talk to new people. You're going to understand that the issues you're facing are universal, and it's more important than ever that burden is shared and conquered by procurement teams.
What is the networking and overall experience going to be like at the conference?
From my own personal experience with the events we've gone to, I've covered 2 of our global summits, one in the US, and like I said, the floor is always buzzing with activity. The stages are packed. Regardless of what you want to do in that moment, you'll find something, from keynotes to firesides, panels, workshops, or even network. And I truly believe it's our best agenda to date with some of the speakers we've got. Leaders from PepsiCo, Pfizer, Deliveroo, which is the UK arm of DoorDash, 3M, Schneider. So yeah, I think it's just great, and I honestly truly believe it's going to be our kind of busiest but best event to date.
Yeah, I remember last year a lot of the networking that at least I did. They at certain breaks or at lunch, like there was always opportunity to meet with people in the hallways and in the exhibit hall. And it was fun because, like, I go to a lot of conferences, but I saw people at your conference last year that I've not seen in years, right? So it felt good to kind of reconnect with people that I haven't seen in so long, but also meet a ton of new people too. And you mentioned 2,000 people attending. Like, when I walked in there last year, I had no idea it was going to be that large. But it was filled. It wasn't just 2,000 people. It was like 2,000 of the right people, if you know what I mean. Like, they all were in the role deep into procurement and beyond. So I thought the networking was phenomenal.
No, thank you. Yeah, I really felt that as well. And I feel that we have a lot of clients and we cover a lot of North America, but this is the only time we get out there for these kind of big flagship conference. So it's kind of imperative to us that it's the best it can possibly be. So for those 2 days, we want to be, the procurement hub. We want to be that place where the right people are at, having the right conversations. So yeah, and like, we said we have networking breaks. We like to promote that throughout the day. So, it's not going to be sessions back to back. There are chances to have those kind of vital conversations.
What interactions can attendees expect with solution providers, and how much industry-leading procurement technology will be there?
We've got booths on the show floor. There's going to be solution providers on the stage. There'll be availability to approach them. You can network through our new app as well. You can talk to them, but then also they're bringing along some of their customers as well, so you can talk to the solution providers and the people who have directly benefited. So is that not that sales pitch, if someone from there who you can talk to, and how that solution provider has helped them with the issue that they've faced, and how they can help you with yours.
Aaron, one thing that I'm curious about, you mentioned earlier an innovation hall. I'm assuming that's with the suppliers that are going to be there showing the latest and greatest. Can you go into a little bit more about what that looks like?
Yeah, so these innovation zones, we debuted them at the Net Zero Summit in London. So it's like it's on the show floor. It's a chance for kind of like a live demonstration from the solution providers with an audience, and they kind of take you through a demo, and customers and attendees can then kind of ask questions. They just kind of get to watch it. If it perhaps isn't something you were maybe kind of searching out, it's a chance to maybe take a look at something that wasn't on your radar, to kind of get another kind of up close personal look with something that you've kind of come to the conference to kind of look and talk more about.
Fantastic.
How would you describe the overall energy of the event?
I just call it a buzz. There's like, you kind of come out, that kind of hum of conversation that you have at these events when, there's so many people in the room, discussing and talking. Just the vibe is always really positive. It just feels like people are there and they're having these kind of really important conversations, but there's also kind of that more relaxed feel to it because we're out of the office setting. We're going to be at this beautiful venue down on Navy Pier. So yeah, it's like this really tremendous kind of buzz with, just great conversation. I honestly, walking through, lucky for me, I kind of get to go from like kind of stage to our editorial area. I get to walk around a lot, and to get to feel that and see that is honestly tremendous. So it's always great to see, people you're talking to having these conversations around, and, just to be in the room and feel the energy is really, really great.
From a previous, like from last year, the way that I would describe it as an attendee was there was a lot of practical nature of the conversations, right? There's stuff that you can take home right away, but there was also this really cool mix of innovation and future thinking at the same time. So that's kind of like the vibe that I felt like. I felt like I could walk away with something immediately, but also understand what's coming our way. So anyway, that's Aaron, personal feedback on the vibe that I felt.
Well, I mean, that's really tremendous feedback. So it's great to hear. And
Yeah.
I hope you have the same, if not better, this year.
Perfect.
What else is new or distinct about the conference this year?
So we have got, like I said, we've got a new and improved venue down at the Navy Pier. We're going to have a new main stage to complement our specific industry stages. It's going to be a show, like the event team has really kind of upped their game into kind of bringing like the characteristics, Bizclik energy. It's more of a show. It's not just an event. We've tried to kind of introduce a bit more music, and we want to make it kind of bring up the energy, make it a show, make it something that people really remember, I think.
I love that venue. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, our events team has really knocked out of the park with securing it. So yeah, I'm really excited. I must have watched the drone fly through promotional video of it countless times. I'm really looking forward to getting back and getting back to Chicago and attending the Navy Pier.
It's definitely an iconic building. I love it there. Why should someone consider attending the conference this year?
I think what makes this conference particularly relevant is given what procurement teams are challenged with. We believe that anyone from procurement, supply chain, sustainability will not regret attending this event, because there's never been a more important time to bring these functions together, to have those conversations, and that's why it's so relevant right now, because it's ongoing, isn't it? You're seeing the stuff going on geopolitically, that it's important that people come together, have these conversations to understand how their colleagues, how people that they've never met before are countering these problems. So I think it's really important that we kind of come together now and have those conversations, bring people together, be that hub, and offer something for everybody, so we can really kind of make sure people leave, like Amanda said, with something for now and something to help them down the line.
Yeah, and one thing that I feel like, I don't know, there's a lot going on in our space, right? Like Aaron, as you were mentioning, like there's just, and it's tiring at times, right, to manage it all. And I feel like when you attend an event like yours and you leave, there's like you bring part of that energy back with you, right? So it helps refill your cup, re-inspire you, really help you understand that we have a mission today, but there's a clearer path in the future too. And there's something about it. Like I always come back a little bit refreshed and energized from being with my peers and hearing all of the great insights that were shared.
Yeah, definitely. Feel like we feel that as well. The whole team is puts all their energy into making sure this event is the best it can be, and when we pull it off, that when you come back, you kind of fly back on that energy of being able to do something, and it's great because we're kind of lifted up by that feedback we get from people telling us that they've come along, they've had a great time, they've learned this, they've made new connections. That stuff is what we do this for, so we can become that hub to have that. So it's great to hear that we leave you that impression, and
Yeah.
we get it as well. I love the feeling I've come back from an event thing, like I've had some really insightful conversations. I've met new people, and I now have a better idea of what's going on for the people who are in procurement day in, day out. So then I feel like my web stories and my magazine will be better as a direct result. So
Yeah.
the feeling's mutual.
Yes.
Well, you've given the audience a lot to consider. Amanda, what stood out most to you from the conversation today?
Well, there's a couple of things. I knew there were a lot of people there last year, but 2,000 people, and the caliber of people, like I said, is just top notch. Like loved the conversations from last year. I'm really looking forward to this year. I do like how you have merged all three of the different kind of streams, if you will, pillars to come together for that very robust content and options for the people who are attending. As I mentioned, I love the venue. It's a great venue. And to have 35 exhibitors and the opportunity to hear them too, either within the exhibit hall or on stage, I think it's just a great mix of content and really looking forward to it. It's right around the corner.
Aaron, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time and all of the insights that you've shared.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this. So thank you so much. And Amanda, see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
What an insightful conversation, getting an insider's view of procurement supply chain live. Strategy focused, innovation driven event that brings together leaders shaping the future of procurement supply chain, and it's co located with sustainability. Conference is best suited for, I think we heard all levels from mid senior professionals, including leaders and teams driving transformation and change in their organizations. Attendees can expect to walk away with clearer view where their function is heading. The networking will be fantastic, along with practical insights, exposure to new technologies, and great peer connections. We work with conference teams to ensure accurate information, but our goal is simple to provide clear context so professionals can evaluate events objectively and decide if it's the right fit for their priorities. We want professionals to assess carefully, choose intentionally, and if this conference aligns with your priorities, we'll post a link below where you can learn more. If this show was helpful, follow Conference Insider as we work to raise the standard how procurement professionals evaluate conferences, and share this with someone evaluating their calendar. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time on Conference Insider Procurement Edition.